Board?
Okay, it's recording, but one moment, sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
Seems like a pretty good gig.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I teach people how to do video. Anybody comes in, they become a member. I teach them how to go out and shoot the rally, or shoot the parade, or shoot the cars, car show.
Yeah.
Where are we at? What are we doing? Oh, we're in the middle of the intro? Okay, and the mic queued up to go on camera 1. Okay. And you can hear me talking? Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me out there, everyone? Welcome to the Jason Show, every Saturday at 10. I've been interviewing homeless people for the last few months. Really enjoying this. I met this guy a couple months ago. Where's my camera 1?
Trying.
That's all right. That's all right. Glitches are acceptable here. This is public access.
All right.
It's not the Oprah Winfrey Show. I don't have 50 staff people. I've got one, the illustrious Emily Hull, teching for me this morning. Fabulous work back there. We're getting it. We're getting it. She's filling in for my regular guy, Micah. So yes, this is a Jason Show, interviewing homeless people, having a good time at it. I met a guy a few months ago named Mike, and I was running around town this morning looking for a guest, and I saw Mike there, and he looked like he was in a good mood and ready to come on the show and tell us all about it. Tell us all about homeless life. Tell us about the ups and the downs and the ins and the outs, and just see what it's a reality that's all around us. And so we're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at that right now. So Mike, oh, and thank you so much for coming on. Yeah. Very happy to have you on the show. So I've got an idea for the introduction. Oh, and if I say too much, give me a holler. Somebody was telling me I say too much. It's totally unprofessional. We're professionals here. So I've got an idea, Mike, to get started. Why don't you tell us in like a minute or two your whole life story? And then we'll spend an hour looking at all different kind of parts of it.
Yeah.
Kind of like I was born here, this is my, and a couple sentences about your childhood, and then I went into the service and I did this, and then I did this, and I've been homeless for this long, and now I'm here. Just a quick kind of like, you've had an interesting life. You've been in prison a few times. You've been in the armed services, but you're lucky enough to be before Vietnam. And then you also mentioned that growing up and foster stuff and grandparents. So yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear a little.
Well, when I was a kid, oh God, I must have been like 7 or 8. My parents split up. They were party people and too young for a family, and there was like 4 of us kids. And the old man would be running around. So my mother, she said, "Hey, to heck with this, man." So she'd be doing twice as much as he was. And it was a get even thing, And then they got a divorce, oh God, back in like 58, 59. We were kids living in Calpella then. And my father didn't want to pay child support, so we went up to live with him up in Humboldt County, Hupai Indian Reservation. And we lived up there for a couple of years. And then moved to Crescent City up on the Oregon border. And we had a stepmother, and she had 3 kids. And then my dad and her had another kid, so there were 8 kids. Yeah, it's a big family. And my dad worked days and nights in different sawmills up there for
So he was a partier and a hard worker?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But he didn't spend his money on his family, raising his family. He always needed new chopper, new Harley chopper, or he was a gun collector and a knife collector, and he had a couple hundred guns and
Uh-huh.
big knife collections and all that kind of stuff. And so he kind of let his kids down to that field, you know.
Let his kids down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was living in juvenile halls and foster homes since I was about 13 or 14. And I got in with a good family. They knew my parents from Fort Bragg back in the 40s. And they had 2 boys. One was my age, one a couple years older. And I lived there for 3 or 4 years. And then I just got tired, so I dumped down to LA to see my real mother. And I had a big warrant on me, so I joined the service, you know. Better the service than the joint, so.
What was your warrant for? Now, this is when you were 18 or something?
No, I was 16.
16?
Yeah.
What'd you have a warrant for?
Just breaking probation, all this kind of stuff, you know.
Uh-huh.
Being a runaway, breaking probation. But once you get down, once you've been to the joint, it seems like you never get off parole, you know. I've been off parole for some years now, but it's a game, you know, the CDC game, man. And CDC is there for one purpose, not to rehabilitate you, but to make money off of your bud.
Really? That's
Oh,
your
yes.
perspective?
Yes.
The California Department of Corrections?
Yes.
Is a money-making situation? It's not
Yes.
so much a rehabilitation
It
attempt?
isn't state-owned, man. It's, you know, private firms and stuff that own the prisons.
Uh-huh.
And they're money makers. That's the biggest money maker in California, aside from the movie industry, is the prison industry.
And what's it's all about, the buildings and the plastic forks and the guards and the
Oh, yeah.
paychecks? I mean,
That's it. Hey,
it's an industry.
your average crew, guard, makes 35, 40 bucks an hour to like sit on his ass with his feet on the desk or whatever. I mean, it's totally ridiculous. And there you see people out here working hard for minimum wage. The average person working for minimum wage, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. And they don't get paid vacations and all this kind of stuff, you know.
So when did you first get this idea?
Early in life.
Uh-huh.
Very early.
Uh-huh. So 30, 40 years ago.
40 years ago anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I've been raised on both sides of the street, and I know right from wrong, but it's hard to do right all the time when you look around and seeing all these people you're supposed to respect doing all these crooked deeds, you know.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Just blows my mind.
Yeah. So you say it's a game, and
It's a big game. It's not
once you go in,
the game you play, it's how you play the game.
you said once you go in, you're kind of, it's hard to ever escape the whole revolving door thing.
Yes,
Is that what you're
yes,
talking about?
yes.
Yeah.
That thing they call parole, probation, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
You know, they can pick you up for jaywalking and send you back to prison. You know,
Ouch.
People think that I'm BSing when I tell them that, but hey, I've seen it happen a lot of years, you know.
Yeah. So you see a lot of abuse by the system. You see a lot of
definitely.
wrongdoing in the system. Do you also see the good side of how cops are providing a
Yes,
service?
definitely.
Okay.
I mean, hey, some of them put their life on the line, and they're good people. Other
Yeah.
ones were jerks in high school, and they're still jerks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Okay. You see.
and
You
they
see
wear
it
the
all.
badge so they can get away with what they do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. So, when was the last time you were in federal prison?
long time ago,
10 years? 5 years?
more than that.
Okay. So yeah. And then, how often do you stay at the Low Gap Hilton up here? Do you go once a year?
I try to stay away from there.
Well,
I
of
mean,
course you try to stay away, but do you wind up in there once a year?
I'll probably.
Uh-huh. And just for being a big mouth, drinking and
But
yelling, or
you know, like I said, I've been disabled for more than 40 years, and I can't fist fight some dude 3 times my size, you know, and half my age. And so I fight with my mouth,
uh-huh.
you know, and they do not appreciate it,
Uh-huh.
especially if you got some dirt on them. They get really uptight,
Uh-huh.
and they'll make up stuff. Well, hey, he assaulted me. Yeah, crippled old man in his 60s assaulted your big ass. You know, this guy 3 times my size, half my age,
Uh-huh.
and assaults, excuse me.
So tell me about the friendliness and the meanness of street life. When I walk up to people in the mornings to go find somebody to do my show in the morning, people are friendly. People
Yeah,
are saying, hey, good morning, you know, they're drinking coffee, they're smoking cigarettes or pot.
What did I say? Good morning when you pulled up.
Yeah, yeah. And people are in a good mood.
Yeah,
And then sometimes they can turn like that.
real fast.
Okay. So tell me about the community. I mean, do you like...
This is a fairly good community.
Uh-huh.
You get a lot of friendly people, and you got a lot of good people out there too. But it's like everything else. You got your good and your bad. You know, you got somebody with a chip on their shoulder or whatever, and they pass it on to you, and then you got it. You pass it on to somebody else, and you know, it's a big game out there.
Big game.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty violent
definitely.
compared to regular folks. Like I've never been homeless. And I just...
I've been homeless by choice most of my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit and talk about your history. So when did you first become homeless? When you left that foster family and thumbed down to LA to visit your real mom?
Yeah.
And that was the first time.
I was like 15 or 16. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So you started being homeless
Yeah.
at 15 or 16. And why would you do that when you were in a house with a family that sounds like they were pretty good?
They were caring. They were good people.
Uh-huh.
But I just never liked anyone telling me what to do or anything. And, you know, it was me, you know. I wanted to be myself, you know.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why I took off and got to do what I wanted to do.
Did you find it easy and fun when you were 15 and 16? Or was it
yeah.
scary and difficult?
No, it was easy.
It was easy.
Like when I was 16, I thumbed down to my mother's in L.A., and she was a female bartender. She always ran bars and stuff, and she always had like 2 or 3 cocktail waitresses living with her, you know, that worked the same bar and stuff. And I started going with older women at a very early age.
So did you then live with your mom for a little while?
Couple months.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And then there was a warrant out for me, so rather than do time, I joined the service.
What year was that?
Oh God, 66, 67, something like that.
Okay. And you joined the service in 67, but you didn't go to Vietnam?
No.
Because that wasn't until 73. You got out right before the war.
No, the war was going, but I never, luckily, knock on wood, I never hit it.
Yeah, never went over. You know anybody who did?
Oh yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine so.
I lost a lot of friends, relatives over there, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah. So, what was the service like for you? Just you were in the tank a lot? You were in the brig a lot? You still didn't like people
That's where I spent half my time was um, in the stockade.
Uh-huh. Still being a rebel.
Not being a rep, I just, I was a youngster. I didn't like anyone tell me what to do. I just wanted to do my own thing, which usually got me in trouble.
Tell me a story. Would you mouth off to a officer one day or something?
No, one time I thought, well, yeah, I'm tired of the service. So I popped the second Louis in the face and went to the stockade again. And luckily I got out.
That's it?
That's all I'm talking about.
Okay, so how long have you been in Ukiah right now?
Oh, God.
15 years? Is that what you said?
I've been in Ukiah since the early 50s.
Really?
But every once in a while I'll take off or get married and take off to another state for a year or two. Then, this county's like a magnet. If you're from here, it's like a magnet. You always come back.
You've traveled the world and you've traveled the United States. You traveled to Mexico, you traveled to Europe.
Canada, Europe, Japan, Philippines,
Oh, the Japan and the Philippines was in the service, right?
No.
No.
No, I got, when they were having the Marcos regime over there, and they were trying to overthrow him, I married one of his nieces so she could get a green card to come over here.
You married a Filipino?
Yeah.
So she could come over here?
Right.
When was that?
Oh, God, that's back in '87, I think.
Uh-huh.
I got to pay for my troubles and got to travel a lot, but,
Yeah. So you've been around the United States how many times?
I don't know, 12, 15, something like that.
Yeah. Just all over. Just always
Yeah.
a traveler. Yeah. Huh. You must have seen a million things.
Seen a lot of things.
Yeah. Look, what do you think of your life? Like looking back at all those travels and all that time and all that freedom, what do you look back on it and see now?
Well, I was out for a good time. I had a good time, but, I'm a crippled old man now, so,
Slowing down a little?
a lot.
Yeah.
But,
What's the cripple?
hey, I've been disabled, physically disabled since 1971.
What happened?
My ex's pimp ran over me with a logging truck.
Your ex's pimp ran over you with the logging truck.
Yes.
How did you live to tell about that? Run over with a logging truck.
I spent a year in the hospital, dude.
You spent a year in a hospital.
And another 6 or 8 months to learn how to walk again.
Oh, my. And you were in coma?
Yeah.
For how long?
3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks in a coma.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
I came out of a coma. I didn't know my old lady or anybody. The only one I knew was my oldest daughter, and she was young, year-old, year and a half, something like that.
So you survived that, and you've been crippled ever since?
Oh, yeah.
Are you in pain?
Constantly. That's how come I drink so much.
Oh, really? Yeah. So the alcohol is a better medication than pills, or they both go together?
I don't like taking morphine and bikes and all that stuff. I get strung out too easy.
What do you mean strung out?
I use it more and more, because it gets rid of the pain, and makes you feel good with no pain, so you like it more. And so then I'll switch over to alcohol and, knock down my addiction to the drugs.
So you kind of go back and forth and
Yeah.
move between the two?
Right.
And you spend most of the time on alcohol or most of the time on pills?
Alcohol.
Uh-huh.
That's my drug of choice.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, one thing that we mentioned, let's see. My guest today is Micheal Whitehurst, longtime resident of Ukiah. Been here, born in Calpella, or grew up?
Fort Bragg.
Born in Fort Bragg, grew up in Calpella.
Calpella, Red Valley, Potter Valley, Willits, Ukiah.
Everywhere.
Upland, hey.
Can't sit still. He's been to the Philippines, been around the whole country, been to Japan. What was I going to say? We're talking about pain management.
That comes in a bottle. They call it Jack Daniels.
Yeah, yeah. So how
Right.
much do you drink every day? What's your average?
A quart to a quart and a half.
Quart to a quart and a half. Okay. A quart. That doesn't sound like much.
You ever drink a quart of whiskey a day?
No, I haven't.
Hey, I'll tell you what. After the show, we'll go out and drink a couple quarts, and you can find out.
See how I look afterwards? Yeah. See if I can stand?
Right.
No, I don't think I could do that. That would be a good experiment, though. Yeah, we'll take the cameras out. We'll take the cameras out after the show. And, oh, what happened? No camera one?
No taking the cameras out.
Oh, okay. No, put me on, when I talk into the camera, you got to put me on. No, just joking. We'll take the cameras out. We'll have my new friend here see if I can drink a quart. So anyhow, are you pretty?
I would like to see you drink a quart.
Now,
I really would.
What is a quart, like a half of a fifth?
No. A quart is 32 ounces.
Okay, right. Oh, that's a lot of hard liquor.
A fifth is less than a quart.
Oh, that's a lot of hard liquor. A fifth is just a little less than a quart.
Right.
Yeah. Wow, quart and a half. Yeah. So have you ever gone straight for a spell here and there?
Yeah, when I was doing time.
When you were doing time?
Yeah.
What was the longest time you went? 6 months? Year?
Went down or?
Went sober.
Went sober?
Yeah.
Oh. Probably a year and a half, something like that.
Uh-huh. And now the whole time you could get little Apple Jacks going.
Raisin Jack, Apple Jack.
Yeah. So tell us about how that works.
Hey, you don't want to get caught.
'Cause?
You do more time.
Oh, man. It's risky.
Oh, yes.
But somehow it's still worth it.
Hey, there's a lot of people doing time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like most guys in Folsom or Pelican Bay that are doing a life sentence or 2 life sentences, what do they, care about another 6 months? I mean, oh my God, don't threaten me with that.
Right. So you went to prison 3 times.
More than that.
Really? And were any of the charges legitimate?
Not really. I got one, the first one I got when I went down was for drunk driving with bodily injury. It happened at Lake Mendocino. What happened is I got drunk with some so-called friends and passed out my tent, and they stole my pickup and went joyriding, drinking in it, and they went up the hill to the lake, and it had a big motor in it, and they were hot rodding around. This one big guy fell through the tailgate and slid on the tailgate to the bottom. There used to be a phone booth down there at the bottom of the lake. At the, when you first go over off Lake Minnesota Drive. And he split his head on the curb around the phone booth, and he was dying and everything. That's when I got went down the first time.
But you weren't even in the car?
No, I was drunk, passed out my tent, and then the guys had done it. They're the local boys too. I could say their name, but I'd rather not.
Sure.
And they came up and woke me up. Hey, Mike, your pickup quit running. Go down to the lake and start it. And so, like a dummy, I went down there. The keys were already in. I reached my pocket for the keys. I couldn't find them. And I got in my truck, and they're right there in the ignition. And as soon as I turned it over, a cop was standing out my window, cocked the gun in my head, and said I was under arrest for baloney or something. Anyway, the guy was dying, and he was in a coma. He went in a coma and all that. And I'm not a rat, so I done the time, but I didn't do the crime. And
you're not a rat. You couldn't just say, "Hey, I didn't do it." You had to point the finger to get out of it, and you didn't, and you wouldn't do that.
I don't point fingers.
Yeah.
I mean, paybacks are a bitch.
Yeah.
The poor guy died when I was in prison, though.
What?
The poor guy died when I was in prison.
Yeah. Yeah. But you weren't driving the truck.
No.
Huh.
And I would say public defender, but he was public pretender, you know. He didn't do that good of a job in my case. Like I said, pretender. I got a lot of animosities against this county and the government in this county, man. What?
Huh. So, all the cops know you in this town?
Most of them. All the ones around here that I used to know most of them are retired, but there's still a few around.
And so, but it sounds like you're winding down a little bit as far as causing trouble.
Hey, I don't want anyone causing trouble with me, so I don't cause trouble with anyone else. You know, what goes around comes around, and vice versa. You know. I just like being a mellow person, easy to get along with.
Yeah.
That's where life's at. Yeah.
So tell me about your family a little bit, Mike. You've got a lot of family going on.
I had a whole lot of family.
Yeah.
Well, my dad, the feds were trying to pop him, back in, I think it was in the late 80s and early 90s. And so in 91, I think it was, he turned to be an evangelist preacher. Of course, he had
Your dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was on the
Wanted?
No, on that program, a bunch of those.
Pat Robertson or
Yeah.
the 700 Club?
Yeah, there you go, right there. I couldn't think of the name of it. But,
Yeah.
he was on 700 Club and all that kind of stuff.
So he went from being a gun collecting, knife collecting biker that partied hard
Oh yeah.
to an evangelical Christian on a talk show, even.
He found out it was more profitable.
Really?
Very.
What's he doing now?
Oh, he's been dead since '93.
93.
Yeah.
So he's been gone for a while.
Right.
So he spent his last 10 years doing that?
Probably 7 or 8 years.
Okay. And did he believe? Was he a real man of God, or was it all fake, or was it half and half?
No, when he first started out, it was for the recognition and the money.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he had his chauffeur, he had a 6-door limousine, and his chauffeur was like 6 years younger than me. She was a ex-Red and White mama, you know, Hell's Angel.
What?
Red and White mama, Hell's Angel mama.
Uh-huh.
And that was his downfall.
That was his downfall.
Oh yeah. He died in Canada in '93 of cardiac arrest. He died in bed
I don't.
with a heart attack, dude.
I don't. He died what?
With a heart attack in bed.
Uh-huh.
And his chauffeur was like, she was 6 years younger than I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. She
He
killed.
he had the big one, dude.
Huh. But he was an evangelical
Oh yeah.
preacher. Did you ever see him speak?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. Now, did he believe it eventually?
Towards the end, he was a firm believer.
Okay.
When he first got into it, it was the recognition and the money.
Uh-huh. So he must have been a charismatic fella.
Oh yeah, very.
Yeah. Huh. So that's your dad. Is your mom still alive?
I haven't talked to my mother in years, but she's somewhere around Barstow or something like that.
Uh-huh. So, are you kind of mad at your folks for partying too hard and leaving you?
No,
No?
I got no hard feelings against anyone in my family.
No? So, and you also have some kids and some grandkids, right?
And great-grandkids, too.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So tell me about your kids. How often do you talk to your kids sometimes?
I just, my one daughter my oldest daughter with this woman from Koblo. Our oldest daughter is like 40, going on 41. She stopped by a couple months ago. She had a new old man with her. And she says, "Hey, Dad, let's go to Reno and split the rent." I said, "Yeah, sounds cool."
And do what?
Split the rent.
Yeah.
And so I go over there, and she says, "Oh, we already got a place and everything. We should split rent." I go over there. They're in a damn studio apartment with a king-size bed they're sleeping on. And I slept on a damn couch, a 5-foot couch for like 2 months, man.
Oh.
Hey. Oh, my God.
So you just did that recently?
Oh, yeah, I just got back a couple days ago.
Okay. So you were in Reno for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And how was it?
It's not the way it used to be, but, you know, it's still a fun town.
Still a fun town?
It's not anything like it used to be, you know. It used to be cheap and, you know, the rent and everything was cheap and, you know, entertainment and all that. But still a good town.
Yeah. Yeah. And so sometimes you hang out with your daughter. How'd that go? You guys get along?
Oh, yeah. When she, you know, I never hear from her unless she's in trouble or she needs money. "Hey, Dad."
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't sound too bad. Sounds like you guys have a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then how about other kids?
I've got a daughter another daughter lives in Lake County.
Uh-huh.
And I see her, oh God, once every 5 or 6 months, something like that.
Uh-huh. Now, you're getting older, and you're crippled and in pain, and you're on the street. And you couch surf and you hang out with your daughter and stuff like that, but you don't have a permanent, steady. No. Now, tell me about that.
Stay with a girlfriend, couch surfing, or, you know, sleeping underneath bridges.
Now, what
with
about
a blanket or, you know,
sure.
or without a blanket, out to the lake, along the river. I mean, you know, you do anything to survive. You know, like I was probably getting like 12, 14 hours sleep a week, and that's how come I'm all shot out.
So, how can you get a place? Do you want a place, or are you just fine?
No, hey, I'd like a place. I really would.
Can you take your disability money and get an apartment?
No, they don't pay you that much, man.
Uh-huh. How about, what do you call it, voucher?
You know, they send you through so many hoops that, and it takes so long to get it and everything that, hey, I'd just rather not, man. You know,
Too many hoops.
too many hoops. to
Too
jump
many
through.
meetings, too much paperwork, too long of a wait.
Right.
So you're just surviving.
Hey, that's all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and grandkids. You have a grandkid in his
I got
20s
Yeah.
that you talk to and have
25 or 26, something
and
like that.
you have a relationship.
Yeah, he's a pretty good kid.
Yeah. So you seem pretty steady and you seem pretty even. Do you have a mental disability? Are you
Yeah.
are you
I
schizophrenic
physically-
or
Paranoid schizophrenic.
paranoid schizophrenic?
I can go off at the drop of a hat, dude.
Oh, really?
I try to be mellow. You know,
Uh-huh.
I don't like getting in trouble or anything like that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm too old for it, too crippled up. You know, I just
Yeah.
rather.
But do you take medication for that?
I used to take a lot of medication.
And
but,
now you don't?
Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
my best medication.
Did the medication help when you were on it?
It seemed like it did, but then I started needing more and more of it, and I just,
Yeah. So when
alcohol is easier to do.
so paranoid schizophrenic, like, do you ever hear voices
At times,
very often, like every day or every
No.
week?
probably
Every-
every week,
Every week.
every other week. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And is it worse if you get nice and drunk? Does that make your schizophrenia worse?
No, I think it makes it mellower, a lot mellower.
Really? Have you ever ran out of money and had to sober up and kind of got anxious and freaked out?
Where there's a will, there's a way, guy.
So that doesn't happen. You just
Once in a very great while.
once in a very great while. Yeah. So
You know, it's nice to have good friends too. I mean, people that you loan money and they'll loan you money. You know,
yeah.
you know, as long as they pay back and I pay back, everything's cool.
How many friends in this town do you have that you feel like are your friends?
True friends are few and far apart. I'll tell you that.
Sure.
Off the top. You know, there's a lot of so-called friends, but you know, they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
But a real friend, I got very few of them.
But you do have a couple, one or two?
I've got more than that, but a real friend, I've got a few.
Uh-huh.
And you can always count on them, and they can always count on you.
So you have that.
Oh, yes. And that's what life's about, man.
Yeah. So if you have paranoid schizophrenia, how troublesome is that for you right now? How much does it bother you?
Sometimes it bothers me pretty bad. When I'm around a group of people or something, and somebody says wrong words, and I'll say, "Excuse me, what do you say?" And if they repeat it and they say what I thought they said, I start getting uptight, and then I start to dwell on it, and that's not a way to be, man. Anymore, I get up and walk away because I don't like doing time.
So give me an example of something that somebody says that would trigger you.
That old crippled old bastard.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I
A
say it
put
quite
down.
often. Yeah,
A put down.
right.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm at a party or something, and the person is running competition to pick up a check or something, and then they have to use that crippled old bastard or whatever to pull me down. It gets me uptight.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you get angry, you got
I don't stick people anymore. I just think about it.
yeah. Yeah. You don't stick people anymore.
No, I just think about it
Yeah. Yeah.
and get out of the area as soon as possible.
Uh-huh. Huh.
Change my thoughts to something better in life, you know.
Yeah. You ever been in therapy about that or counseling about that and giving you tools on how to
Oh, yes.
maintain?
Yes.
Yeah. For years and years or just a couple times?
Oh, years and years.
Years and years. And has that helped or does it hardly do anything?
No, like when you go to a shrink, Here they're supposed to be helping you and all this. Really, all they're doing is blowing smoke up your ass. I mean, I had a shrink here in town for a long time. Court order and everything, you know. And he drank once in a while, you know. I mean, he'd have a few shots or whatever, social drinker.
Mm-hmm.
But then he blew his brains out. So, you know.
Wow. Did you like the guy?
He was all right. He was kind of weird, but he was all right.
Make you sad when you heard that, or didn't really matter to you?
I didn't really care.
Yeah.
You know, I probably knew him 15 years or something like that.
Well, my guest today is Mike Whitehurst, longtime Ukiah resident. Just talking about homelessness and talking about the reality of it and the ups and downs and difficulties. Yeah. Thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
So it sounds like it really, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. It sounds like if whatever schizophrenia you have isn't really all that in the way. I mean, some of the people that I meet that are schizophrenic, they just are nonstop in another world and voices and talking.
I've been there. I've been there, but, you know, I prefer not to be.
Uh-huh.
That's why I got a good buddy. His name's Jack Daniels. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
So if you sober up, you get crazier?
Yes.
Really?
I get a hell of a lot looser than I am now.
Uh-huh. And so you just drink steady, hard liquor, just a sip every hour or whatever, a sip every 10 minutes throughout the day, and that keeps this schizophrenia suppressed.
Yes.
Now,
until I've been drunk for, you know, like a month and a half, and then it starts getting me down.
oh really?
Yeah.
What happens at that point?
Then it's time to change back to the pills
Uh-huh.
for the pain. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And what do you mean starts getting you down?
I get real moody and real uptight, and, you know,
Uh-huh. So are you on pills today or alcohol?
alcohol.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Now, it's almost hard to believe, because I would think that if a person had a mental disability like schizophrenia or bipolar or whatever,
I've
that
got it all
drinking-
on medical records in this county. You know, if you doubt anything I've said, man, go look in the records.
Yeah. Well,
mean-
they're all private, right?
Yeah, I've got medical records like this.
Yeah.
Like I said, they keep them in storage.
They thick medical records.
Oh, yeah.
So you go to the hospital all the time, every couple months,
No, usually a couple times a month.
couple times a month. What do you usually go in for?
Pain.
Pain?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got like nerve damage or muscle bone damage?
I've had all that, man. I broke like 73, 74 bones in my body from one wreck. And
What wreck did you break 70 bones?
when my ex's pimp ran over me with a logging truck.
Yeah. Man. How'd he get you under the logging truck?
He ran over my car, and I was in the car.
Ah.
I had my stepbrother was in the front seat with me, and I had two hitchhikers from back east and their dog in the back seat. It put him out the windshield, and I went out the car door, and the car rolled over me a couple times.
Yeah.
And it snuffed people, the hitchhikers and their dog.
They died?
Yeah.
Even the dog?
Yeah. They were in the back seat. And it was a head-on collision.
Do you do it on purpose?
He's not around to talk about it, so why should I?
Huh. And that was 1971.
Yeah.
How old were you?
21.
What else about that story? That's a big one. That's a big
Hey,
deal.
that was the downfall of my life, man. Hey,
Oh yeah?
that's how come I got to be alcoholic and, you know, drug addict and all that.
Uh-huh. Right there. Never fully came back out of that, being crushed up so hard.
Hey, it's hard to do.
Yeah, yeah. So, you don't do a lot of drugs right now? You
No.
do some pills and pain management, and you flip back and
No.
forth?
I'll take a couple of hits off a joint, you know, like once or twice a week, or I'm not
Light marijuana.
I'm
just a
I'm
little.
not, you know.
The whole town
into-
smokes marijuana,
yeah.
it seems
Oh,
like.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not there anymore, man. I've done it for so many years.
Yeah.
That, you know.
Yeah. How about meth? Meth's pretty popular.
It used to be a habit of mine.
Oh, really?
Check the scars.
Yeah.
And
You used to shoot meth.
Yeah.
And
a lot of years.
for a couple years?
A lot of years.
For a lot of years.
Yeah.
What age to what age?
Oh God. 17 till 50.
Really?
Yeah.
You did meth from 17 to 50. I'm surprised you have teeth.
I don't.
Okay.
I got them dropped out with a nightstick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Folsom.
That must have hurt.
I just broke them all off at the gums. And then they got a thing about their medical. I went without teeth for a couple, 3 years in the joint, and then a couple weeks before I got out, they made me teeth, but they got knocked out again.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Now, you were a brawler in prison?
No, I was a crippled old man, you know. They call me OG, you know, and old gangster, old guy, whatever, you know. And I'm not into prison politics, nothing like that. So.
But how'd you get your teeth whacked out twice in prison?
Screws. I mean, guards.
Uh-huh. I mean, why? They just did it random, or were you
No,
mouthing?
no, I had a smart mouth.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, somebody tells me something, you know, if they're telling me straight, you know, I'll listen to them, but if they're trying to blow smoke up my ass, hey, you know, I don't want to hear it.
Uh-huh. So tell me about one of those times. What did they say? Do you remember? You don't want to talk about it?
No, that's the past, man.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, sure. So, so that's a pretty hard drug. It really takes it out of you. But you
Oh,
did
yeah.
it for a long time, and when you were 50, you stopped.
Had to.
What happened to make you stop?
Hey, I just looked around, looked at my past, man. Hey, excuse me. It just brought me down in life, you know. I'm getting too old, you know,
Uh-huh.
to go down fast, eh.
So was it easy to quit, or was it difficult?
No, it was.
Did you have any help?
I had a lot of help, you know, good friends, good aunt and uncle, and they helped quite a bit.
Really? So you looked around at some point, right around 50-ish, and you said, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
I got to stop doing this particular thing, which is really serious, shooting up speed. And then you asked for help, or they offered help, and then they helped you?
No, they knew that I was trying to kick, you know,
Uh-huh.
and they give me, you know, support. Well, hey, you know, I'm glad you're doing that, man. You know, it's really bring you down. Like I said, man, look at those scars. I've been there a lot of years.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Was it hard for a week or a month?
Hey, it was hard for months.
Months,
Yeah.
yeah. But you managed.
Oh, yeah.
How were you so strong?
A lot of help from my family.
Uh-huh.
And good friends. Like I said, good friends are few and far apart.
But you had a couple at that
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And you ever touch it every once in a while? Once every couple years or at all?
Well, once in a great while, you know,
Uh-huh.
like once or maybe twice in a year,
Uh-huh.
I'll go on a run for a couple, 3 days, and that's all I need. Don't need no more.
Really? How come you don't get hooked back up? Is it not that kind of thing for you?
All they got nowadays is garbage.
Uh,
You used to get pure pharmaceutical shit. Anymore, everything, they got so much cut and stuff in there. That's what kills everybody, the cat.
the cat, the what?
The cut,
The cut.
what they cut it with, mix it with,
Yeah,
to make it go farther and make more money.
yeah.
That's what gets to you, the cut.
Huh. Well, that doesn't sound too terrible. That you do it once or twice a year, and it doesn't really. I mean, does it really hurt you when you do it, or can you survive it okay?
I can survive it, but it's just, excuse me, it's not worth it. To hurt for 2 weeks after I do it, man.
Oh, it does hurt.
Yeah.
It does hurt after.
Yeah, my body's all broke up and stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
Takes too long to recover.
Yeah. So.
Just use it, don't abuse it.
Yeah, yeah. So we got about 10 minutes left in the show. My guest is Mike Whitehurst, and we're talking about it all here. Life on the street, what it's like. So if you want to tell people something, everybody out there sitting on the couch, probably about 5 people watching.
Right.
What would you say to the world of non-homeless people who live in houses?
Life's precious, man. Do the right thing. That's all. Don't waste your life.
Life's precious. Do the right thing. Don't waste your life.
And end up like me. Hey, be for real.
Well, you seem to be doing all right with your family and friends, and things could be worse.
Oh yeah, a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that drink hard liquor die earlier than you. Die 10 years, 10 or 20
I've
years
got a lot
before.
of friends that didn't even drink as heavy as I do, and they died at an early age.
Yeah.
From alcoholism, and knock on wood, man, I'm still kicking.
I guess you got a constitution that can handle something.
Evidently.
Yeah, yeah. So you had a lot of fun in your life, and.
Well, I had a lot of downtime and everything too, but
Yeah.
Hey, life's great.
Yeah. All right.
You just have to keep that attitude in your mind. Hey, things are cool.
So what do you think about the next couple years?
Hey, times are getting hard, man.
Tell me about the homeless. Tell me about how there's more homeless people right now.
Hey, now, before you see mostly guys homeless, and then a few women, but now you see whole families that are homeless, man. And that's getting pretty sick, man. For our country as big and as wealthy as our country, and there's starving families on the street, women and kids sleeping in doorways. I just came from San Francisco, Sac in San Francisco, on the way back from Reno. And I kicked down, 3 or 4 days in Sac, and I spent 4 or 5 days in Frisco. And you go by and there's women with kids sleeping in doorways and stuff at businesses. This country is really messed up, man.
And you haven't seen that in the last 20, 30, 40 years?
Yeah, but not as much as now.
Right.
I mean, now is totally ridiculous.
Yeah, I heard that even middle-class people are falling down.
Hey, you see people out there in suits panhandling. I mean, God. I've had to panhandle more than a few times in my life, man, for a drink or whatever, but you see women with kids out there panhandling, guys in suits and stuff panhandling, I mean, and clean and everything. You think they're doing good and everything? They're not.
Huh. So it's on the rise.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe it's the beginning of the end. Or maybe things will just get a little better. Hopefully.
Probably the beginning of the end, man. Hey, Armageddon's around the corner, bro. Hey.
Yeah, yeah. Are you a religious person?
No.
No?
My father got religion for a while. First it was born of religion, but then he really got into it, so before he kicked. And I'm not a religious person. I believe there's got to be a creator, man. I don't believe he came from monkeys or whatever, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm not religious.
Yeah. Were you telling me a couple weeks ago that you have a medical situation that doesn't leave you long to live? Did I hear that right?
I got a degenerative bone disease in my skull and spine and joints and stuff, man.
Really?
It's like eating holes in my skull.
When did you find out about this?
About a year ago.
And
what have I done about it? Nothing. Because I don't give a rat's ass anymore.
yeah?
Hey, I've lived my life, man. Time to scoot over and let somebody else live their life, you know.
Time to scoot over and let somebody else. So how long do you have, you think? I mean, do they say that there's a time, like it's terminal?
They said it's terminal if I don't get it taken care of. But hey, I've lived a good life, and time to scoot over and let somebody else live one, man.
You don't feel like you need to live till you're 75 or 85?
No.
Yeah.
I don't even plan on that. I don't plan on 65, let alone 75 or 85.
What year were you born?
49.
So you're how old?
62.
62.
I'll be 62 in November. First
Yeah.
week in November.
Yeah. Huh.
And hey, I've had a good life, man. I've had kids, grandkids, great-grandkids. You know, let somebody else have them, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to sign out. We've been talking to Mike Whitehurst for the last hour about life in Ukiah. This is the Jason Show every Saturday at 10. Coming up next is our fabulous local radio station Trading Time show. Right, Emily? With our slides, our in-between programming slides, but with live broadcast from KZYX. And so, any of y'all that have tuned in, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm always fascinated by these people's stories because they're so much different than mine. And I always appreciate them and appreciate them coming on and being willing to tell all the stuff. So, Mike, it's been a pleasure.
Hey, same here.
Yeah, yeah.
You got a good show.
Thank you, thank you. So, yeah, with that, let's sign off.